Outside the Box Reviews, we're taking a look at the NECA Terminator Genisys T-800 Guardian figure. So alongside the newest T-1000 figure, we got the first incarnation of Arnold Schwarzenegger we see in Terminator Genisys. This is the version that exists parallel to the original Terminator showing up, and the look that I thought was really badass when I saw it in the trailers. As much as you want to rip on Arnold for being old, Arnold got old. It happens. But seeing the Terminator with the cool hoodie kind of looking like Michael Myers from Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 got me really excited for the film, and got me really excited to pick up the action figure. T-800 comes with his shotgun we see in the movie. I don't really like this one as much as I like the Terminator 2 version. This almost looks way too futuristic for the 80s, but it's still really nice looking. They did a great job with different colors of blacks and silvers. Kind of more of a mottled look up here and then some more shiny chrome areas on it. A lot of great detail in it. I had a complaint with NECA's Terminator guns for a while that they're painting them in kind of as few colors as possible, it seemed, but they've really stepped it up as of late and included a lot of colors under different weapons. And let's talk about the elephant in the room with this figure, the head sculpt. I'm not a huge fan of it. I really don't think it looks that much like Arnold Schwarzenegger, even at his current age. I feel like they did a good job trying to age up the face. I think a lot of the details they added in are great, around the neck area especially. Just the way the skin folds and everything, I feel like it really works. From certain angles, like this here, I think it looks a lot like Arnold did in the movie, but dead on, it just kind of has a strange look. It reminds me more of one of my uncles than it does Arnold. But there is some good detail in here, despite the fact that it doesn't look particularly convincing to my eye from all angles. His eyes are well painted, but they are looking slightly off to the side. I don't know if that's just my figure or if they were all like that. It also kind of looks like there's a sucked in piece of his cheek here, almost like the face is a little bit deformed. The paint around his hairline is a little sloppy as well. There's a lot of flesh tone creeping onto it. The hair itself is nice. They kind of did a brown paint with a gray wash over it to kind of show his age. For the body of the figure, it's kind of the formula we've come to expect with Terminator figures. The vest kind of area of the jacket is a soft, pliable rubber material. We have all the pouches in it and everything. The gold zipper here on the front, little buckles back here on the back, different textures and things to the leather, which look really nice. They did a really good job with the sculpt here. We have the hoodie folded up here on the back. I kind of wish we would have somehow gotten an interchangeable piece where we could have the hood up, just because I thought that was a really cool look in the film, but it's not meant to be here. He does have his gray shirt underneath, which looks pretty good. Some good wrinkles in there and a little bit of black shading over top. There's a hard sculpt done for his arms. You can see more stitching and all the wrinkles and everything. Looks pretty good. Then we have his bare hands here. More of that gold zipper going on here on his sleeve, which is another great touch. And even kind of a nice pattern here on the elbow, which I think is really cool. The lower torso is soft rubberized plastic. Because for this design, his shirt isn't tucked in. We don't get belt detail or anything. So it cuts down on the large amount of detail we've seen before on stuff like that. No pockets on the back either. But he makes up for that on his legs, because this Arnold has cargo pants. So you get a big pocket up here at the top, all these great steams and stitching and wrinkles, and another pocket down here, which, were these kind of pants popular in the 80s? I really don't know, but I feel like this is more of like a 90s and on thing. I just don't really think of cargo pants when I think of the 80s. And then down here we have his boots, which have some great detail, a nice leathery look to them, which is really nice. And just like with the T-1000, they painted the sole a different color, this time kind of a grayish brown. It just looks really good and really just gives a life to the boot, which looks great. We do have some tread pattern at the bottom, even though we do get the copyright as well. Then we get peg holes too. For articulation, the T-800 has a ball joint at the base of his head, so he could look up a little bit, down a little bit. His neck's a little too thick to give him a huge range of motion. He could also rotate side to side as well as tilt. I think it's very interesting that they made his head like this, because almost every other Terminator figure has had the ball joint at the base of the neck, and this kind of makes this figure an oddity. I feel like if they had articulated it like that, he'd have a much better up and down motion with his head. You have pin socket shoulders, so they'll go out to the side pretty far, and there's actually kind of a bit of a ratchety feel to it. They'll move forward and back, bend at the elbow, pretty much a full 90 degrees, which is great. We have a ball joint there at the wrist. We have a ball joint here at the waist, so you can go forward, back, rotate, as well as go side to side. Something that was missing in the Ultimate T-800, but we get here. The legs will move forward, back, as well as out to the side. We have an upper leg rotation. Pretty good joint at the knee, almost 90 degrees. You can rotate as well. And then we get a ball joint at the foot, which isn't really hindered by the pant leg, which is a little baggy here, so I'm really happy about that. For a size comparison, here he is next to the Genisys T-1000 figure. I think they're on pretty good scale with one another. Here we have the history of the T-800. On the left, we have the NECA T1 Tech Noir version. Then we have the NECA Ultimate T-800 from T2, the McFarlane POS Terminator from Terminator 3, and this new Genisys version. Thank God nobody made a random nude version of Arnold from T4. But I think it's kind of cool to have this full lineup of T-800 figure here. I think all the NECA ones look pretty good together. I think the McFarlane one looks like crap. Maybe I'll have to review him someday. And it's funny, because from the neck down, this figure, I think, is fantastic. The sculpt is great, the paint is on point, the one accessory it comes with is cool, which is pretty much the only accessory it really needs. Just that head sculpt bugs me so much. And I need to watch the movie again. I'm sure I could look at still pictures, but maybe watching the movie again would really let me know for sure how I truly feel about this figure. Maybe my memory of Arnold Schwarzenegger is just way too much stuck in the 80s and 90s, but it just feels like this likeness is off. This figure's gonna get a recommend, just not the highest one. But you know what? That's pretty much my thoughts on the movie too, so it's pretty fitting. We are going to get the later version of the T-800, even older version with some battle damage, which I am looking forward to. I believe that will be out before the end of the year. And though I doubt it will happen, I'm kind of hoping we might get some variants to this. I saw a picture online of somebody who did a custom version where they took his arm and replaced it with an endoskeleton arm, and they added some battle damage to his face. And I thought that looked really cool, and I might have to do that myself. Fortunately, it's pretty easy to get an endoskeleton for not a whole lot of money right now, so that's definitely a possibility. And it's funny, because I don't particularly hope we get more Terminator Genisys figures beyond that. I don't really expect that we're going to get the new John Connor in figure form, or the new Sarah Connor. For the future of Terminator figures, I'm actually just pretty excited with NECA going back and giving more ultimate treatments to figures we had before in the line, or ones that never were. We're going to get the Ultimate T-1000 and an Ultimate Sarah Connor, which we haven't had a Sarah Connor figure since the McFarlane days. So we have that really cool T2 Sarah Connor. Maybe they'll even go back and give us an updated Kyle Reese. And I just hope someday, somehow, they find a way to justify doing a John Connor figure. The kid John Connor figure, because that just seems way too important not to have in this action figure line. NECA usually says that figures of kids aren't really as appealing, they're harder to sell, plus you have to go after the likeness rights for those actors. But come on, give us a Kids from James Cameron movie 2-pack. Edward Furlong and Carrie Henn. We get John Connor and Newt. Make sure you're checking me out on Instagram, username Outside the Box Reviews. Also follow me on Facebook, link below. And until next time, this has been our Outside the Box Reviews. Hasta la vista, baby.